I, Ram Bansal, on behalf of Department of Mechanical Engineering, Medical University, Indore, India, welcomes you all in second day of International Faculty Development Program on Trends in Automotive Technology. Our eminent speaker of today's second session, Dr. Kauslin Kumar Dubey, has joined with us. Dr. Dubey is associated with the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Galgottian University, Greater Noida, India. As, as an assistant professor, he received a doctorate in mechanical engineering from Delhi Technical University on December 2020. Jamia Millia Islamia Delhi, India is awarded to him Master in Technology in Thermal Engineering with honors in 2010. In 2016, he earned a faculty research fellowship in engineering and heat recovery research from an Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. Dr. Dubey has over 25 scientific articles written in reputable publications and seminars, as well as two patents, and is a committed volunteer for energy research technology through industrial and university projects. Welcomes you, sir.
Thank you. Uh,
Now, session is over to you, sir.
Good afternoon to all of you, and very welcome to all our esteemed faculty members. So, I'm just sharing my screen. Is it visible, sir?
Yes, sir, it is video.
Yeah, sure. So, today in this session, I will discuss about, as per my topic, the vehicle waste heat recovery for automobile air conditioning system and the carbon economy. So, today we know the increment in the transport sector, the vehicles, the fuel consumption. So we need to
Sir, can you make it
discuss
full screen,
about,
sir?
yeah, yeah, now fine.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay. So we need to discuss about the alternative uh, cooling system for the transport sector, especially the commercialized vehicle. So in this topic, the major highlights the objective of this topic, the transportation sector energy consumption by the fuel vehicle emission, the very main concern about this topic, and the existing system uh, for their conditioning nowadays the industry is using, and heat recovery and the heat recovery utilization for the car air conditioning system or the vehicle air conditioning system, then its benefit, then the discussion about the technological difficulties, challenges in the development of the alternative cooling system. So, so this topic I would like to focus on the current,
Sir,
yeah.
sir, some noise is there. Any fan is there, sir, nearby?
Is it working? Yeah. Now it is clear.
Uh, some uh, some background noise is there, sir. Is it Ram Bansal, sir? Is it okay? Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Now it is clear.
Okay, sir.
Fine. Okay, thank you. So the main concern of this topic to discuss about the existing cooling system, air conditioning system of the vehicles, and what are the losses behind that. Then the technological adaptation of the alternative cooling system for the transport sector, for the vehicles, because as nowadays uh, the energy crisis, the fuel crisis, and all transport sector is depend on the conventional fuel. So we need to discuss, we need to think about the other cooling systems which reduce the carbon emission, which reduce the fuel load. So the main concern of the main objective of this topic to identify the waste or the energy losses in the traditional or the existing cooling system, and this is the simply VCRS type, to compare the key characteristics of the VCR and the proposed alternative cool system in terms of the vapor absorption system, then the technological challenges in the existing cooling system and the alternative cooling system. So as we know that the vapor compression system is basically depend on the mechanical compressor based cooling system which consume the more power, more energy, and the vehicle air conditioning system is directly depend on the engine shaft, engine output power. So the all things is actually the correlated, the fuel consumption, energy loss, vehicle load, and the cooling requirement. So all these things we need to discuss, and how can we reduce this loss? How can we save the energy? And what other technologies are possible? So this is the entire thing of this the session. Now, before the discussion of the this system and all the things, why we need actually. So as per this statistical data, and it is the survey by the Organization for the Economic Cooperation and the Development (OECD), which decide which survey the energy requirement, energy load, the fuel crisis, which sector is the consumes the more energy, what is the global energy level, what is the energy consumption in globally by the different sector. So here this result actually is the latest result, and which I am showing here. So the annually, the average demand of the fuel by the transport sector is about the 1.4% from the 2012 to 2040 is estimated, and in 2012 the energy consumption is about the 108 quadrillion BTU, and it is increases up to the 150 quadrillion BTU in the 2040. So if we go for the liquid-based conventional fuel like the the diesel consumption is increased by the 13 quadrillion BTU. Similarly, the jet fuel also increased by the 10 quadrillion BTU. The motor gasoline is increased by the 9 quadrillion BTU. So in all these category of the fuel is in increasing order. So the very important thing, the energy load, and day by day going the growth in the transportation sector. So we need to think about, and we need to go for the under cooling system or which provide the better cooling. Now if
Sir,
we,
sorry, sir.
yeah,
Sorry for the interruption. Some background noise is there, sir. Some
sorry,
noise is there, like motor noise is there.
no any machine is operating here. This is the approach cabin actually.
Some background noise is disturbed.
Okay, maybe my laptop fan. If we reduce the volume, so actually my laptop fan is noising actually.
Okay, sir. No problem, sir.
Yeah,
You can
yeah,
proceed,
yeah.
sir. No issue, sir.
Yeah. This is the laptop fan issues actually. Yeah. So in the second and the next figure of the energy consumed by the transport sector in the country wise. So here I have specified the African-based state, the India and other Asia countries. So here we can see the energy consumption by the transport sector is much and more in our country. So here the all 7 countries have the significant energy load or energy consumption in the transport sector. By the mode, if we say the energy consumption, like the lightweight vehicle, like the cars and the air travel, and the aeroplanes and all the things, the buses. So here the major two mode, the lightweight vehicles and the air, because of the cost effective vehicles are available and the cost effective fares, airfare is available. So in the transport sector, these two mode have the significant and the considerable energy load and the fuel consumption by this survey and by this graph. So the under the main point, when the energy consumption by the transport sector is day by day increasing, so no doubt the emission and the toxic emission also is associated with this. So here in the previous figure we have seen the lightweight vehicle and the air vehicle and the aeroplanes and all the things are in increasing order. So here we can see the plane, the emission by the mode of the transport by the aeroplanes and their passenger vehicles is at the high level. So and the small cars and the sport utility vehicles in the motorcycle, all these had the significant and the considerable effect. But here we can see the main the mode is the air passenger and air vehicles. In the second schematic, we can see the pie chart here, the global carbon emission from the transport sector in 2007, it's about the 6.6 gigaton, and now it is increased by the 9 gigaton. If we see the Asia wise, so it is increased by the 19%. So these things are very important. We need to think about how to reduce the emission, how to control the fuel consumption, and what are the possibilities to control this and to clear this. So there are different components of the tourism mode, like the plane, car, and trains, the hot air balloons in the picnic spot. So all these things actually increase the load on the atmosphere and to discharge the toxic emissions. So here, the from the 2005 to 16, this the transport-related tourism emission is increased by about the overall 60%. So this is the alarming condition for our industry, for the transport sector, and the cooling industry. So provide the alternative systems and in the sustainable system. Now I am comes to the basic the cooling load, the cooling system of the vehicle. So here this is the simply layout. The basic fundamental part of the car air conditioning or the vehicle air conditioning system is shown. Here the compressor is operated by the engine shaft, so it consumes the engine power directly. Now after the compression, the next connected unit is the evaporator, which provides the cooling effect to the cabin space of the vehicle, and after that evaporation process. So this is the here the throttling valve is available, and to convert the refrigerant into the completely liquid state at the low temperature, and and further, yeah, and sorry. So after the compressor, the refrigerant, hot refrigerant and the high pressure refrigerant enters into the condenser unit, which is about to radiator part of the vehicle. Here the heat rejection is possible from the system, cooling system. Then here the process, the next process connected to the expansion valve uh, for the refrigerant phase change, and here the refrigerant is converted into the liquid phase. Then further it achieve the low temperature and the low pressure, and further process for the evaporator where the cooling achievement we can achieve, and further cabin stage. So this is the simple layout of the air conditioning system of the car or the vehicle. Now the very simple, the same thing here, the four fundamental part, and this is actually the system which actually it is called the vapor compression refrigerant system. So many cooling system, other fuel system are available, and it is on the R&D state and in the development for the commercialization. But the very popular and the conventional system we have, the VCR vapor compression refrigeration system. Here, the refrigerant vapor is actually compressed after the evaporation process. So the evaporator means the heat eject from the system to maintain the low temperature. So here the all things is actually basically deals by the used refrigerant. So very important concern here the refrigerant, because the VCR system consume the mechanical power in terms of the compressor. So we need to replace this compressor. But the other important thing is to uh, uh, selection of the refrigerant also, because the VCR based refrigerant causes the toxic and the severe impact on the environment as per the Kyoto Protocol. The two important parameters for the environmental concern like the global warming potential consideration and the ozone depletion potential consideration. So these two parameters are very important for the selection of the refrigerant. So for the environment concern and the eco-friendly concern, these two value must be the zero. But nowadays for the VCRS, the only one the refrigerant we have the R134A, which is used in our the domestic air conditioning and our refrigerator, because it has the minimum value as per compared to the other refrigerants. But the other refrigerant and the very old time refrigerant we have the ammonia. It has absolutely zero value of the GWP and ODP for environmental concern, but we cannot use because it's a toxic nature. Now further, this ammonia system is applicable with the water solution as the alternative refrigeration system. So here, the existing technology of the air conditioning system of the vehicle is basically it is based on the vapor compression refrigeration system. So as per the automobile industry data and the expert, this compressor is consume the 10% of the engine power. So this 10% is the very important power which is the use for the compressor running, and so we need to control and we can care of that system by adopting the other system. Then the very important concern, because the VCR system is employed in our existing car and the vehicle. So how much fuel is consumed during the AC is supposed that off and AC is supposed that work. So in the idle condition, that means the no load condition. So the economic car for the Indian context, like the Hyundai and the Maruti Alto. So if the car in the idle condition, the engine is consumed about 0.6 liter per hour of the fuel consumption. When the AC is working is on, so this figure is the scale up in the 2 times about the 1.2 liter per hour when the AC is on. So we can think okay, how much fuel is consumed when the AC is working, and this is our requirement. This is essential requirement for the any vehicle, for the especially for the domestic car. So we need to treat this thing and we need to care about this thing. So the other general estimation, if actually the AC, the fuel consumption is depend on the so many factors like the speed of the car, because the compressor is connected with the shaft of the engine. So RPM is a very essential input for the compressor running. So the speed of the car, the fuel consumption will be different, AC load will be different. So here in general, if the fuel consumption in idle, if the AC is on, so here if the 1 liter the fuel is consumed in the idle condition, so moreover the 1.2 or the 1.3 liter of the fuel will consume when the AC is on. That means if 15 to 20% of the fuel is more consumed when the AC is on. Now this figure is very important for our for the system development. This 10 to 20% of, because the 10 to 20% the fuel is increased, fuel is consumption is more. That means the same value can discharge the emission and especially the carbon into the atmosphere. And if the 1 liter of the petrol or the gasoline is burned, so the 2.5 kg of the CO2 is discharged into the atmosphere. If we consider the diesel fuel, so it's about the 3.4 or the 4 kg of the carbon dioxide is discharged into the atmosphere. So we can think and we can estimate that this the 10 to 20% of the more fuel consumption when the AC is on. So there are so many factors are available for the consumption of the fuel during the AC load, like the size of the compressor, no doubt, because the existing system is this is the main part of the VCR system. So size of the compressor, because the pressure is required at the after the compression and the condenser side. So as per the compression ratio, the main input factor for the size compression selection for the compressor, compression ratio is a very important factor, and also it's depend on the which type of the refrigerant is used. Like the R134A, the compressor will different, or suppose that R22 is used, the compressor will different, because the thermodynamic property of the refrigerant is a very essential parameter and very essential factors for the selection of the RG unit. So here actually the balance of system of the cooling units are the overall the design concern. If we suppose that what refrigerant is we are using, as per the refrigerant, we need to this compressor, we need to this type of the evaporator, we need to the material for the condenser. So many things we have as per the ASHRAE guidelines and the industrial norms of the emission control and all that thing. So the engine efficiency is the another important factor. Then the climatic condition is the another essential factor. Suppose that the outside climate is the 40 degree and 45 degrees C, and the inside climate and the inside temperature of the car cabin we need to maintain as per the human thermal comfort. So if the temperature is during the climate summer climate, the temperature is more. That means the compressor work will increase. If the compressor work will increase, that means the engine load also will increase, and relatively fuel consumption also will increase. So here all the things, the temperature, moisture available in the air, then the size, window insulation of the vehicle, the other essential parameter. So these parameters are important for the AC load design and for the cooling system for the vehicle development. Now the another data I have listed shown here. This is the global data actually. So here the annual increment and the fuel consumption during the AC is working in terms of the 1 liter per 100 kilometer or the 2 liter per 100 kilometer for the 10 years of the span. What is the fuel consumption, the economy. So here we can see if any vehicle is runs about the 14,000 kilometer. So here if the 1 liter of the fuel is consumed while it's running the 100 kilometers, so 3,000 to 20 kg of the carbon can be discharged into the atmosphere. If we see in the general 6,000 and 8,000 kilometers of the vehicle running, so the carbon discharge is about the 1,840 kg to the atmosphere. So this is a very serious concern about the climate change and the global warming, because we are thinking all these things nowadays. How can we reduce the temperature and how can we reduce the toxic emissions? So what technology is feasible, what technology are not? Because the concept we have, there is no new concept for the alternative technology, but we cannot implement for the domestic purpose and the car system. So these are the main concerns actually. So overall, we can think. This is the single vehicle kilometer running. If we calculate how many vehicles are in our country, in our state, in our district, we can calculate, we can estimate from the very small unit how much carbon is actually dumped into the atmosphere. So this is a very important concern concern about the carbon economy, carbon emission with our existing system. So there are some the advantage side of the VCRS, the quick start machine, very high
Sir,
efficiency.
your background noise is increasing, sir.
Because this is the actually problem of the laptop fan. It reduces the volume level of my system.
Now the noise is more, sir. We can't able to hear your voice. Yeah, now it's okay.
No, like if suppose that if I reduce the my laptop voice volume level now, so now voice is clear, sir. Hello, hello.
Your voice is clear, sir, but the
Yeah,
background
yeah.
noise is increasing. Yeah.
I can only increase or decrease my laptop volume only. I don't have any other option. What should I do for this?
Okay, sir. No issue, sir. You can proceed, sir.
So I can only do things. I can increase or decrease my laptop volume. I don't have the other option because this
Okay,
fan
sir.
is
Now it's
disturbing.
okay, sir. Compared with the before, the noise is now okay, so you can proceed, sir. No issues.
So there are some the advantages side of the VCR system like the higher performance and the quick start machine, the good cooling, and the variety of the refrigerants also available for the VCR system. But there are some the drawbacks also. The very important again the concern about the environmental actually. Environmental concern is a very important because the available refrigerant has the high value of the ozone depletion and the global warming potential, and it has also some the toxic emissions and the flammability also. So as per the ASRE, American Society of Refrigeration and Air Conditioning, so we have the category of the non-toxic and the non-flammable refrigerant also, but we cannot we have no the much variety of the low value of the ODP and the GWP value. So this is the main the our restrictions like the R22 refrigerant, R21 refrigerant have the high value of the COP. But why we are going for this? Because this type of the refrigerant have the small size of the compressor requirement, because in the vehicle system design and development we cannot go for the bulky system, we cannot go for the system which occupy the more space. So this is the main restrictions to adopt the VCR system with the high value of the ODP and the DWP type of refrigerants. Then another problem of the leakage of the refrigerant to the under it can create the severe and any accident also, the leakage of the refrigerant, because these refrigerant are the chemicals. So maybe some flammability characteristics are available, so it can damage the all chemical system. So refrigerant costly in the VCR. So these are the drawbacks of the VCR based air conditioning system which we are using in our vehicle nowadays. So here now comes to the heat recovery and the heat source for the cooling nation system or for the alternative cooling system. So here the heat category is basically categorized under the temperature source of the heat. So here I am categorizing in the high grade heat. If the temperature source is more than the 650 degrees C, so it considered under the high grade heat recovery. And the heat source like the furnace and suppose that in either in the furnace and the solid burning and the glass melting furnace, Here the temperature should, or the heat discharge source temperature is about more than the 600 degrees C. So that temperature has a tremendous potential for the cooling system and for the under the advanced thermal power system for the multiple effect of the heat energy like the heat power and the cooling. So here the application also available. We add per this temperature label, the source of this temperature, what technology are available for the multiple heat generation system. So nowadays in our the thermal industry and the power industry, we are going to use and we are going to adopt all the system as per this heat source. Now the medium grade of the heat category and the heat source here, we can see the steam boiler exhaust, gas turbine exhaust, and especially we can see the reciprocating engine exhaust. So here the temperature, the exhaust temperature is about 300 to 600 degrees C. Now this is the very important and the input for us to produce the cooling without any consumption of the extra energy, without any consumption of the fuel, and without any extra consumption of the any mechanical based compressor. So this reciprocating engine exhaust system and the heat utilization is considered under the medium heat grade recovery sources. The other heat grade source we have the less than the 200 to 30 degrees is the low grade, like the molding industry and the process industry and the bearing. So we can use all these temperature range for the thermal effect. And the very fundamental concept we know that in the thermodynamics, if the temperature range is about the 20 degrees C, so that temperature also can help to generate the power and heat. Right. So the at this level the power generation and the energy effect is the very low, very low. But thermodynamically we have the fundamental of the 20 degrees C of the temperature is available in any place. We can use this temperature for the energy effect. So here in our the reciprocating engine system, we have the very good potential and the very tremendous potential of the temperature input for the cooling. We have the thermoelectric cooler, the exhaustion, all these things are available. But the problem is this: we have no in the commercial system for the cooling generation. We are in the R&D stage. We are in going for the optimize to the system because the vehicle system cannot allow for the any bulky system and the much volume system. Then, through this diagram, we can understand the heat discharge from the different engine parts here. So at the full load and the part load, if we run the engine, so here the different temperatures ranges are available from the engine emission. So here we have the opportunity for the engine heat recovery from the exhaust manifold here, and we can see when the engine is in the part load, the available temperature is about the 400 degrees C and the full load is about 600 degrees C. That means we have the very good potential, very tremendous potential for the heat, for the cooling generation by using the other than VCR system. So engine actually treated as here as a thermal source, as an energy source. So there are different temperatures we can see in this schematic, where the only the 30 and 35% of the fuel in the energy is we can obtain, and the rest of the 60 and the 40% of energy is wasted through the heating of the water and the exhaust emission. Now this energy we can use. This 28-30% is lost by the cooling water, and 32% about lost with the exhaust gases. So such type of the energy lost, and this percentage we can use, and we have the opportunity to run the alternative cooling system. Now the available alternative cooling system in terms of the vapor absorption refrigeration system here. The existing system is the vapor compression, here the vapor absorption system is available. So for the vapor exhaustion, there is no any requirement of the mechanical compressor. There is no any requirement of the any ODP and GWP high value of the refrigerant. It requires only the heat source. It requires only and only the heat source. There is no any the chemical based refrigerant required. It requires the ammonia and water and the other lithium bromide type system which have the zero value of the ODP and GWP. So there is no any atmospheric pollution and there is no any atmospheric severe impact. To reduce the maintenance cost, because there is no any the mechanical moving parts, so because machine is the compressor-less machine, so maintenance is also very cost effective. There is no any the capital cost such as, because there is no any the high grade energy consumption material available. The fuel cost also reduced because there is no requirement of the engine shaft power. Engine shaft power can increase the fuel consumption load. So here only requirement is the engine exhaust heat. So these are the beauty of the VR system. There are some also advantages, disadvantages also associated with the VR system. So we will discuss further. So we can compare the both system here. This is the VR system, vapor absorption, and here the vapor compression. So the main concern of the VR to replace the mechanical compressor actually. This is the main concern. How can we remove the mechanical compressor by adopting the under system? Now the compressor, the function of the compressor is what? It provides the high temperature and the high pressure. Now how can we increase the higher pressure and the higher temperature of the refrigerant by adopting the under system or in the machine? So the evaporator, expansion valve, and the condenser, these three systems are the same as per the VCR system. Now this mechanical compressor is reduced by the employment of the generator, absorber, and the refrigerant pump and the heat exchanger. So these four units can replace the mechanical compressor, and these four units cannot. The pump is only work consuming system, so very the negligible work is consumed by the pump. So the mechanical compressor is replaced by the generator. Now the function, the two main function of the compressor, to increase the temperature and to increase the pressure. Now for the temperature increment, we have the generator opportunity, which runs by the engine exhaust. This generator can directly take the energy from the engine exhaust source as per the size and as per the cooling load. All these things design actually depend on our cooling load. Whatever cooling load is required, 1 ton, 2 ton, 3 ton, 5 ton, and so. So temperature can be increased by the generator, and the pressure is actually available by the used pump. Here the refrigerant pump is available. So these two things actually can replace the mechanical compressor of the VCR system. So pump is actually pumped to the liquid. So here absorber is available. So what is happening and what is the main the working of this VR system? And nowadays only we have the two commercial VR system for the domestic and for the cooling purpose. One is the lithium bromide and the water based system, and another is the water and ammonia based system. So here lithium bromide and water and ammonia. So here we are taking the two fluids. Actually these are the pair of the refrigerant and the absorbent. Here the pair, we are using the pair of the refrigerant and the absorbent. So one is the refrigerant and one is the absorbent, because the machine is the absorption system, vapor absorption. So what is happening here actually? So in the condenser, the heat reacted by the refrigerant, and through this expansion valve, the refrigerant convert into the liquid phase, purely liquid phase, and the temperature is going to down in minus degree temperature. Here the evaporator or our cooling space, the heat extraction through the low temperature refrigerant, and the state of the refrigerant is the liquid. So here in absorber, the liquid refrigerant will mix by the absorbent actually, maybe a water if if we take the pair of the ammonia and the water, so here the water is absorbent and ammonia is refrigerant. If we take the lithium bromide water solution, so water is the refrigerant and lithium bromide is the absorbent. So this is the chemically soluble to each other actually. So here the refrigerant will mix with the water, and it makes the rich solution of the absorbent and refrigerant. Now this pump is able to pump the rich solution and to provide the required pressure for this cooling system. So here the pressurized refrigerant and the pressurized rich solution is passing through this heat exchanger. What is the use of the heat exchanger? We will see through this return track. Now the rich solution is available in the generator. Here the heat source is available, 100 degrees C, 200 degrees C, as per the requirement. If we see the ammonia, so ammonia, the boiling point of the ammonia is the minus 33 degrees C. So we don't need to the high temperature. The 50 and 70 and 80 degree of the temperature is the more than sufficient for the ammonia plant. So if the ammonia is available, so here we can use the 90 degree of the temperature for the as a generator source. Now the ammonia will convert into superheated vapor and passing through the condenser through this the way, and here the hot water about 80 degree or the 70 degree, again it follow the return track, because here the water means the mean solution or the weak solution means the water have the some temperature about 60 and 70 degrees C. So we can use this thermal also for the reheating, for the heating of the solution. That's why we are using here the heat exchanger. So here the again water is comes to the observer. So this cycle is further is going on for the cooling effect. Now we can see here there is no any the mechanical part, there is no any the thermal engine shaft is required. Only here the heat source is required. So actually this system is combine the cooling system and the heating system. Actually this is the thermal compressor. Thermodynamically we can say this this part is the thermal compression, thermal compressor. So this is the working function of the VR system. So we can compare in the many terms like the performance. No doubt VCR has the high performance, whereas the VR is the low performance. That's why we cannot adopt in the much in the scale level, and the cooling capacity both have the same, like 1000 TR we can go for the cooling capacity in the working. So here the compressor is available, and here there is the compressor-less machine. Either the thermal input is required. Here the mechanical energy is responsible for the running to the machine. Here the heat energy required to the running to the machine. Then the maintenance, the VCR has the higher maintenance because of the presence of the compressor. Here the less maintenance is required, and the operating cost. No doubt, the VCR system, the initial cost is high, and the electrical energy is consumed, so its operating cost is high. And from the side of the VR system, the operating cost is less because there is no any high energy consumption. So we have the the advantage side of the VR over to the VCR system. Now these are the essential properties consideration for the refrigerant. So here only the ammonia is actually the most commercialized system we have. That's why we are referring the ammonia plant for the VR system. But the other system also available here, this table, this figure. But in all these things, only the two systems are in the commercialized form. So all these things are in the actually the R&D level, not in the commercial level. So so the industry and the expert are actually working on it. Now the laboratory setup, and because there is no any such model we have in the commercialized way for the vehicle system, but we have the laboratory setup for the vehicle system and to generate the cooling effect. So this is the laboratory setup. We have all these things in our the IITs and the NITs institutes, the VR system in this way, in this model. Now in the laboratory, this is the diesel engine model, and the engine exhaust is utilized by the lithium bromide based lithium ammonia based VAM machine, the vapor exhaustion machine here, and this system, there are the further analysis also available in this presentation. So we are using the thermal diesel machine. Why we go for the diesel machine? Why we have no the gasoline engine? We can use the gasoline engine, yes, but in the diesel engine, the diesel power is more. We can achieve the more RPM through the diesel engine based and more engine power, we can achieve the more engine exhaust temperature and the more engine exhaust energy. So here we are here the diesel based the VR system is actually shown in this figure. Now the simple analysis available here for the cooling for this dimension of the cabin space. The outside temperature is about the 40 degrees C, and the cabin cooling temperature without cooling is inside the 50 degrees C about, and according to thermal comfort we need to maintain the 25 degrees C of the cooling. So all these things we are adapting to our setup and devices, and the some values we have gone through the ASHRAE table also. So overall here this the 10,000 kilojoule per hour of the cooling the thermal load is actually here. So if we convert in the ton of the capacity, so we need to do 0.7 ton or 1 ton of the cooling for this system here actually. So this is the dimension which we are taken for the simple analysis to calculate the cooling capacity of the VR system for the diesel engine exhaust. So these are the consideration for the cooling space from the thermal calculation. The load is about the 5 kilowatt or the 4.0 kilowatt. By using the thermal analysis, I'm not showing here the all detail. I'm just showing the output of this actually analysis here. So we can see as per the RPM, we are fixing the T input temperature for the from the generator side, and here that outside temperature is actually changing. The Q generator means the generator energy also changes, and here the COP is also changing. So the coefficient of the performance is basically depend on the verification effect and divided by the Q generator, because in this system the Q generator is the input energy and our output is the cooling effect. So we can see in this result and of the observation, when we increase the RPM, we cannot achieve the much COP. Although the recommended COP for the ammonia plant is about the 0.3 and the 0.5, here we are achieving the 1.2, a very good enough and a very good COP for the cooling achievement. But if we increase the RPM, here the T temperature or exhaust temperature also increases and the QGs increases, but we cannot achieve the COP. So here we can see the very simple thermal expression of the COP, the Q cooling effect, Q evaporator divided by the Q generator, the QGs increases, so we cannot achieve the COP. The reason is this, the energy after a certain level, the energy is going to waste. So that higher energy we can, is not in the useful side actually. So we cannot go for the higher RPM for the cooling achievement. So we must to maintain the recommended COP for the VR system. Here some real-time graph also available. We can see with the RPM is increases, the exhaust temperature is increases. Furthermore, the temperature, the QG increases. So, but we cannot achieve the COP more. So for the COP, we need to fix the temperature of the generator. We need to fix the temperature of the observer. Here we can see the different temperature available. Here the T evaporator is available. Here the T generator is available. TG. Here the T. This is the observer is available. So we need to fix as per our cooling requirement. Now the few the highlights of this experiment. So here as per the engine load means the RPM load 20 to 80%. So we can use the heat, but the more RPM cannot give the sufficient COP and the cooling, so we cannot go for the higher RPM. Furthermore, diesel engine can be considered because it gives the RPM, no doubt, but we can go for the gasoline engine also because we need the only thermal comfort. We are not going to freeze the system. We are not going to ice making for that. No, we need only thermal comfort. So we don't want to the higher RPM for the VR system running. Now the very important thing, the waste heat energy can be utilized, and the important thing is associated with this. We cannot use the directly engine exhaust for the VR system. No, because if the temperature of the manifold decreases by the some degrees, so the pollutants can create the acidity, the acid formation will produce inside the manifold. So this is the restriction. This is another restriction with this system. We cannot directly drop the temperature from the engine exhaust. No. So we need to fix. We need to balance. We need to we need to make the proper heat transfer equation. What temperature is required for the generator, what storage is the required. So we cannot disturb the engine exhaust manifold temperature because the toxic elements are in the exhaust system, so they can create the acidification or the acid formation inside the pipe. So here, through this analysis, we achieved the recommended COP is about 0.85 to point, which is a very good potential. But problem with this, we cannot adopt the VR system. We are only limited to the laboratory and only limited to the R&D because it occupies the more space. Because here the system or generator is required, the valve is required, so we need the more space actually. So this system is the bulky, so the automobile industry cannot allow for this the bulky system for the cooling effect. And the initial cost is high. For the 10 years, we can estimate the cost of this system will be used for the 10 years, but we cannot go for the employment of this system for the automobile and for the commercial purpose, domestic purpose. Here the cooling water is required for the cooling purpose. Here all these things is suppose that the absorber, generator, pump, all these things are required. This is the mechanical less machine, fine, but the system is the bulky, occupies the more space, more volume, and the COP is less. And only through the VR system we can go for the space cooling and the water chilling purpose. We cannot go for even the ice making and all the things. So these are the drawbacks and the challenges of the VR system for the adaptation for the domestic purpose for the car AC system, because the very integration and the very optimization is going on in the vehicle industry and so on. So here we can see that through the India Mart there are only two commercial VR system is available, lithium bromide and aqua ammonia. Here you can see the size of this. The smallest units had about the 50,000 in the Indian rupees. This is the very basic unit actually. If we go for the higher capacity like the 50 ton, 100 ton, 200 ton of the van chiller and the Thermax the company is making the van chillers actually, so the very high cost. It depends on the size, cooling requirement and all these things. So here for the higher capacity of the cooling, the aqua ammonia van machine is actually very popular for the industrial purpose like the food, beverages and process industry, automobile industry, refinery, for the cooling of the space, for the water chilling purpose. That's we have the limited application of the van machine. So throughout this discussion, a few conclusions are we have here actually the so many refrigerant and the absorbent materials we have like the zeolite water, ammonia water, lithium bromide water solution for the VAM vaporization cooling machine system. Then and able to the achievement, the cooling achievement is about the 5 degree, 10 degree, and 18 degree as per it depend on the refrigerant. But the very the good thing with these refrigerants have the zero value of the ODP and ODP. That's why we are focusing again and again for the technological development of the VAM machine or vapor exhaustion machine for the domestic purpose and the car system, because we have seen in our the figure number 9, the 15 to 20% of the fuel is more consumed by the VCR system when it running by the 1 hour and so on. So the same thing we can reduce the carbon also. So if we go for the environmental concern, if we go for the carbon emission and the carbon economy, so we need to adopt this thing. We need to work on it. System optimization, we need to reduce the cost, we need to develop a system which can be applicable for the vehicle system. But nowadays companies are going to launch the cost effective vehicles and all the thing, the small size vehicles, so we cannot go for this VR system uh, for the in the full commercial level. So here the existing AC system, the nearly 35 extra cost is the fuel expense and the matter of the investigation and recovery engine is application. The AC can reduce the fuel economy of the vehicle also. So carbon economy, fuel economy, all these things can be mapped by using this VR system. But we need to the more work, we need to the more R&D in the system. So these are my conclusion related of this topic. These are the references which I have gone through this session and the topic for this week. Now, thank you for all your attention on this presentation. With the technical difficulties like the very noise of my laptop fan. So thanks a lot for your attention to all our esteemed faculty members. Now I'm open for any question and the discussion, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for nice presentation. Participants, please may raise your hand for asking. The participants, please, you can raise your hands to ask the questions.
So this system actually have the very technical challenges. The big challenge is the system optimization and it's the occupants. So we need to reduce actually. And the other thing is the thermodynamically, it needs the absorption and the desorption process also. So it cannot be start in the quick way, like in the VCR and the other air conditioning system. So this is the other technical problem. So it requires the multiple stages of the vapor exhaustion system also. So we cannot go further. But this system is utilizing and used in our the industry also. So we are working on it. So I'm open for all. Any discussion, any question, please.
I think, sir, there is no question from participants because no one is raised their hands or no any question in chat box also. So we can conclude the session now. So I invite Professor Deepak for vote of thanks. Professor Deepak.
Deepak sir, you can unmute sir. Deepak sir, are you there?
Yes, sir. Actually, I didn't have the access to unmute myself. the host has to let me unmute. Thank you, Dr. KK Dubey, sir, for giving a very wonderful presentation on vehicle waste heat recovery for automobile air conditioning and carbon economy. I have also just gone through a few of your recent works, which were much interesting, like a few works related to the chassis vehicle body materials. That those works which I have just gone through. So those were pretty very interesting. Thank you so much, sir, for spending your valuable time with us and sharing your knowledge. Sir, just one a
Sure,
small doubt, sir.
sure.
Sir, regarding vehicle chassis body materials, I saw one of your recent article being published. So, what kind of materials recently you are working with, sir, regarding
Actually,
materials?
yeah. Actually, especially for the chassis, it carry the whole body weight actually. So here the different materials have been our the industrial application. So mainly the alloy steel and the steel which is based on the high strength and the strain. So this
Okay,
type of the material, such type of the material are actually utilizing for the chassis fabrication. But some other material also is required to need to implement as per the requirement and the vehicle requirement, because the day by day the technology is going to change actually. So it's depend on the our application. So the different material is utilized for the different type of the vehicle. Car vehicle it has a different chassis, for the heavy vehicle has a different chassis material. So actually the main the key factor is its strength actually. So
okay.
yeah.
Sir, anything related to aesthetics or some materials which can give some classy look for automobiles? Anything which you are working on, sir?
For the whole body or the only for the chassis actually?
For the outer body, or maybe
Yeah.
yeah.
Actually, other industry nowadays, if we see our vehicles, so there is no any the metal parts. If we compare our the 15 years back of the vehicle's body, so industry is going to now. I think the carbon fiber and all the materials are going to implement for the whole body vehicle, because to maintain the lightweight, high speed, its aerodynamics, all these factors actually is considered for the material selection and all the thing. So I think I'm not sure about it very pretty. So I think the
Okay.
carbon fiber and all the material used for the outlook of the body and all the things. So I think so.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Once again, I thank you for spending your valuable time in sharing your knowledge on this research topic. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. And
Uh,
thank you, Prabha, sir, for having a wonderful session and partnering with all four universities: Medicaps University, Galtos University, and Volo University. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And I want to personally thank Mr. Ram Bansal, sir, who is hosting the event. So thank you, sir, for that. And I want
Thank
to
you, sir.
I want to say thank you for Dr. KK Dubai, sir, for your wonderful presentation. And there is one small announcement for the participants. Tomorrow morning session will be handled by Mr. Ram Bansal, Assistant Professor, Mechanical Engineering Department, Medicaps University, Indo, on the topic of electrical vehicle and its future. And the first session, guy was going to take for Mr. Agus. He will take for second session. He is going to take on the session of braking system for automobile for the second section. So there is some interchange in the session. So I kindly request all the participants to attend all the sessions. Thank you for this, and this is one of the update for the event. And now it's over to Ram Bansal, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dubey, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And thank you all the participants to join us. And now we are going to end this session. We will meet again tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Stay safe and healthy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.